Welcome, everyone, to our client community call for the month of December. It is December 14th. We are so glad you're here, whether you're on live right now with us on Zoom or whether you're joining us on the live stream or watching the recording. We're so glad that you're here. And I want to start off just asking, I know we always like to know where everyone's tuning in from. So if you can put in the chat where you're joining us from tonight. And then if there's something good, I think that it's such a good season to remember the good. So if you can pop in the chat, something good that might be going on in your world. It could be in your health journey. It could just be in your life. So I know there'll be people joining us here. Got Nashville, Kentucky, Georgia, a lot of Southerners. Phoenix, love it. Oh, Stephanie's college girl is home. Yeah, Pam, I can't wait to hear from you. She's on from Glenridge. And your daughters are coming home from college. Oh, isn't that a sweet time? I just remember how exciting that was when I was finishing college midterms or I guess finals and being able to come home. So in the spirit of this season, I know that there's so much goodness that happens during the holiday season. And I also know that there can be challenges when you're trying to pursue better health and wellness. And so I kind of hand selected some people that I wanted just to hear from you guys and for us to learn from each other. So tonight we're going to hear from kind of a mix. We're going to hear from a couple coaches who've navigated a couple holiday seasons before. We're going to hear from a fairly new client who's only been at this a few weeks, who actually came back. She did the program a few years before and came back. Someone who's been on for a few months, who recently had around the world travel, and someone who has been really on this transformation this year that's just had a remarkable transformation. And we also want this to be interactive. So I know you guys are blowing up the chat right now. If we can keep that going on, we really want this to be an interactive time together. So I'm actually going to hand it over to Stephanie Sweeney, who is adorable in her little Christmas hat. And I actually asked in the coaching group who had some tips for us for navigating the holidays. And I read her tips and I just was smiling ear to ear and just imagining her doing all these things and just really wanted her to be able to share herself with you guys, the tips that she thought of to help navigate the holiday season and be intentional with our health. So go ahead, Steph.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for asking me to share tonight. I was really excited about it because not every holiday has I chose joy before, and this is my third year. It's going to be my third health year anniversary coming up, and I'm definitely just choosing joy. And I thought about in the spirit of the holidays and also in the spirit of our amazing program, I wanted to give you my 5-in-1 tips for just choosing joy and finding joy during your health journey. And my first tip would be substituting old habits for new habits. So one of the old habits that I used to have, and I know that still happens, is that, those cooking decorating parties that you have, and then you do the cooking swap and you bring all of those for consumption. How about substituting that habit for decorating gingerbread houses for just display or contests, and put those on social media and have a poll and have people vote for it, with your family. I know with our family, what we did was we pulled out that old Halloween candy that you don't want to eat anyway, that's stuck in the bags, and we use that to decorate our gingerbread houses. A second tip I would give you is to just rediscover your inner child, and choosing that joy. And whether you're on your health journey 3 years like I have and lost 38 pounds 3 years ago and optimizing your health, or you're on day 3 of the program and you're hitting fat burn and you have so much energy, use that energy and rediscover your inner child by perhaps going ice skating. Or if you still have like that Florida blood in you, like I do, I go roller skating instead because I can't stand the cold. Or just maybe doing a freeze dance with your kids, playing board games, and just doing different things like that, just discovering your inner child and having fun. A third tip I would give is to embrace the old traditions and maybe create new ones. Polar Express movie night in your PJs with our amazing hot chocolate, while everyone else perhaps has other hot chocolates and you're not feeling left out. Driving around, or maybe even walking around the neighborhood and looking at the lights display, and making a little note and putting it in somebody's mailbox saying, we chose you as number one for the light display, and just making it interactive that way. Or doing a do-it-yourself, saving some money and doing a do-it-yourself ugly sweater, crafting and just taking scraps of wrapping paper or bows and sticking them onto a sweater. And then the fourth tip I would give you is to give your time to the community. It's just showing gratitude for what we have, and just out into the community, whether it is volunteering at a local hospital to wrap gifts for the kids that are there, or the Ronald Mack House here in Atlanta is another one where they have volunteers there, or visiting an elderly care facility as well. And those are some different ways you can give time. And a fifth one would be challenging yourself to create healthier versions of of holiday favorites. And I know, like, reach out to your coach, or even on our Eat, Live, Be Healthy page. There is an amazing recipe book full of delicious recipes. I see Beth on here, and she helped create those. So thank you so much. And just check out those different recipes that you can stick to your goals. And so that's the 5. And then here is the one I would say, definitely choose joy, and to give yourself 2 gifts this season. And the 2 gifts would be to stop trying to change your past, and also to stop trying to control the future, and to be completely present and just enjoying those moments. Thanks.
Oh my gosh, Stephanie, that was so good. And also, I just want to come hang out with you and your family, because it sounds like you guys just have the best time. And I love your spirit and your energy. And I also love that the chat was kind of blowing up with some ideas. So Lucy, I know she just hosted an ornament exchange at her house, and I love ornament exchanges. And honestly, you guys, I got invited to a Christmas exchange, and I just decided not to go because I knew that it was just going to be really hard. And so, I think sometimes we do have to make hard choices, but I love what you said and how you ended that, Stephanie, about just deciding what we do have control over and what we don't, and staying in the moment and staying present. And I love so many of the ideas that you gave us. Really focus on making memories, and focusing on the people that we're with instead of the food and the drink and all of that. Because when we look back on holidays, I know as a child, I don't really remember necessarily all the different food that we had, but I remember the time that we got in a limo and went and looked at Christmas lights, or the time that we would put the little bags to line the street with, I don't know if y'all have ever done that, like the sand that you put in a bag and you put a little tea light in there and you line the street so Santa knows to come to your house. Little things like that. Those are the things that, I know a lot of us remember from our childhood. And I love that we can really be a part of changing the dynamics in our family for holidays and being able to create those new memories. So thank you so much, Stephanie, for sharing. And next, I'm going to pass it over to Felicia, who is just a few weeks in. She actually did the program in, I think, 2018 or 2019 with her daughter. Funny story is the coach that she had is no longer coaching. And so I was going through a list of people and reached out to her, and just to introduce myself, since she transferred to me. And she told me that she'd been praying for someone to reach out to her about the program. So just so cool. And then to see her jump in right before the holidays and what she's already accomplished. So Felicia, take it away and just share with us the joy that you're having in your health journey.
Okay, thank you. So the first thing is, when I prayed specifically for someone that was exciting and had been in the program. And I had been watching Lauren on Facebook with the different comments. And I said, wow, it would be a great idea if she was my coach. So I don't know who believes in prayer, but prayer, God does answer prayer. And to get that call, and then I got a text and I got an email, all the follow-up. and just the excitement. I'm really excited that she's my coach. So thank you, Lauren, for that. So yeah, I did start in 2018, and the few months that I did it, I was successful. It was a good program, and that was a prayer answered at that time because I needed something simple. Because I don't have a lot of time to cook. I don't like to cook, and cooking one meal works for me. So I started back November 7th. I talked to Lauren, I think like the next day I ordered my stuff and I was ready to go she had a 21-day challenge. The first week went well, and then, my birthday came, the holiday came, and I was like, okay, I got off a little bit. But since the 7th, I've lost 14 pounds, 2 inches on my chest, and a quarter from my neck. So I'm pretty excited because that's, one of the first places you gain weight in the upper body. So I'm just excited to be back, and then to see the new tools that have come since I started in 2018, like Linktree, very good tool to use. So I'm diving all in, and I'm excited. And I was telling Lauren the other day, I'm after 12 pounds. The other day, I just felt like skipping through the parking lot. That's how good I've been feeling, and I actually can feel my knees. They're tight. They're not. Their inflammation is going away, and I mean, I've never felt better. It's just, I'm just happy. Really happy.
Felicia, I could sit and listen to you talk all day. And I told her, I was like, we're gonna have to get a string put on you so that you don't fly away. Like she's like, I feel light as a feather. And you told me that you felt like you were yourself again, and that you felt like, and so what a great gift that you gave yourself, not only for your birthday, but for the holidays. And I just feel the joy. I told her, I said, I just love talking to you every week because I just feel the joy from you, and so cool. And I know you have your grandsons that you're really passionate about and wanting to just be active with them. So I'm sure they're happy that you're wanting to skip through the parking lot, because I don't know about you, but my kids love to do that. So
oh yeah, for sure.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you, Felicia, so much for sharing. And I know you've inspired all of us. And next, I'm going to pass it over to Glenridge, New Jersey, to Pam. So Pam and I and Carolyn, her incredible coach, had a Zoom call last week, and Pam was telling us just about how amazing she's feeling. And she's been on program. You'll have to correct me, but I think maybe a little over 3 months. And just got back from 2 weeks of being out of the country. So a week in South Africa and a week in Italy with her daughter. And she lost weight while she was gone. And I'm going to let you tell the rest, Pam, but I know a lot of us are traveling for the holidays, and I loved some of the tips that you had and just how you were so able to enjoy the travel without giving into all the food and the indulgences. So take it away, Pam. We're excited to hear from you.
Hi, sure. Yeah, I started the program in mid-September. I'm just at, I think, 13 weeks today. I'm down 31 pounds, feeling fantastic. And I knew starting it when I did that I had some pretty heavy travel coming up, but didn't let that stop me from getting started. And thankfully, I was sort of well enough into the program and feeling so good that it motivated me to sort of plan ahead. So I actually sent Carolyn a photo of all the food I bagged up in Ziploc bags for all the phases of the trip, figuring out what I need for the flights, what I need in each of the trips. It was a work trip to South Africa. So I was mostly in conference rooms, very far away. And then I flew up to Florence, Italy, where my daughter's been studying for the semester. She comes home day after tomorrow. Oh, yay. To spend a week. My husband met me there and we spent a week with her. So it was, it was a mix of work and fun. And a trip that normally the work trip would be less about food, but the sort of Italy trip would in the past have been all about the food and the wine. So yeah, the main thing I did was planning ahead. So I worked out with Carolyn that I knew I had 2 work meetings a day the week that for like 4 of the days I was in South Africa. And I wasn't going to pull out a bar when everybody else was eating. It just was not not a space I wanted to do that in. So I just pivoted to 4 and 2 for those few days, which worked just fine. And then when I was in Italy, the main thing I did was I just warned my daughter ahead of time. She's been enjoying her time there a lot, and a lot of that's been centered on food and wine and Aperol spritzes, which thankfully I don't like anyway. But that's her cocktail of choice at the moment. And I just said, listen, I'm not going to be partaking in all of the food and the desserts. And it was really fine. I just focused on being present with my family, enjoying the sights of a city I'd not spent time in before. We also traveled up to Rome or down to Rome for a couple of days. I would eat my 5 fuelings over the course of the day, and let that sit with them while they eat meals. I'd have a good dinner with them, do my lean and green at dinner, watch them eat all the pasta, and I found a nice piece of fish or something, and it worked. And then they wouldn't get pastries every night. And I just, it just wasn't about the food. It was about spending time with people I love, enjoying the sights. I sort of planned the food almost perfectly, came back with very little left. I was really sick of bars by the end, because that was, I needed to be economical in the space things took. I brought bars and oatmeal and some shakes and stuff, but I was happy not to see a bar for a few days after I got back, and now they're back as being a sort of integral part of my day. But that was it. It was a great trip, and I was down 3 pounds when I got back, so that was pretty exciting.
Oh my gosh, Pam. I feel like we just all need to give her a round of applause when she when she was like, I went to Italy and I didn't have wine or pasta. I was like, oh my gosh, like how amazing. But just the determination is just remarkable. And Pam, seriously, like from our first call to now, I feel like you've lost at least 15 years. Like you just look phenomenal. And I love that, I think that it's so easy for us to come up with excuses during the holidays or during travel. But if we can instead make those excuses our reasons, I know that you probably, I told Pam, I was like, you probably enjoyed your trip even more because you felt so good and you didn't feel sluggish and you had the energy to walk around and really enjoy the experiences. So super proud of you. And next, I'm going to turn it over to Josh Travis, who is joining us from Kentucky or Nashville, right?
Yeah, Nashville.
I get confused because he works with Sarah's husband, Brandon. Anyway, and he's been really, you'll have to fill us in on how long you've been on your journey, but I know it's been a good part of 2023, and just, I know you've had an incredible transformation. So I'd love for you to share with us a little bit about your journey, Josh.
Yeah, so I started May 31st or so, after this little disorder. So I started after I went to a couple doctors, and just kind of gained a bunch of weight and just kind of really didn't know what to do. Went to the doctors. They really didn't have a good answer. Tried a couple things and wanted to put me on, some of the drugs that everybody takes. And, I found out it was like $1,300 a month. And I was like, I think I'll try to find out a different way. Anyway, long story short, a coworker of ours did the program. She lost a pretty good amount. She looked great. She felt great. And so I've been doing it since May 31st, and I'm down 75 pounds so far. So I kept telling Lauren, and Sarah, that had I known I was going to feel like this, I would have done it 10 years ago. I've always been a little bit on the heavier side, and didn't really know it was possible when I set up my goals that I would be able to reach this. So I guess the biggest thing was too, and just how many areas that it really changed my life as far as being confident and, feeling better about yourself, actually enjoying going shopping for once, to look at clothes and, went to a Christmas party and was like, oh yeah, okay, great. I actually don't feel awful. And it was a lot of fun. So, I've tried pretty much, I think, everything that's out there, which I think, as I'm finding out with helping other people and talking to other people, that there's a lot of misinformation, and people know, have tried everything as well. And the reasons why they weren't successful, and the reason why I wasn't successful, probably the program and all of this has taught me so many other things than just losing the weight. Taking time for myself and realizing what that means and how important that is, that I never did before. My stress level's gone down. I was able to get rid of a CPAP machine, sleep better. I can do a lot more activity. I have a 15-month old and a 13-year-old, and I can do so much more with them now. I'm not tired all the time. Um, yeah, so I mean, just making it a priority for yourself. And around the holidays, I think this is the first holiday, first Thanksgiving. I do all the cooking for Thanksgiving, and this was the first Thanksgiving that I felt great. I didn't feel exhausted at the end, and just making that a priority for yourself. And it really wasn't that hard, that how easy it was and how attainable it was, and how easy it was to get there, as far as you never thought that it was that easy to get there. So I went from a 38 pant to a 33. So I guess the worst part is trying to update your wardrobe, and you know a little at a time, because it works really well, as long as you stick to it. So it's it's a lot of fun. I mean, so.
Thank you so much, Josh. And y'all, I have to tell you, we did a celebration call. I don't remember, it was like a month ago or something. Or no, it was when you decided to start coaching and paying it forward and helping people. And I'll never forget, he stood up and he was like, I mean, look at me. It's like, oh my God, Lord, I look amazing. And like, just to see from the first time I met you to then, I get emotional talking about it, but just to see the confidence that you have. And I know that you've shared even how much it's helped your marriage and you as a dad, and how your heart and your passion to help other dads be able to know that it's possible for them too, and to actually talk about the hard stuff and talk about the emotions. And I've loved how you just really dived into all aspects of the program. So thank you, Josh, for sharing. And I definitely know that Dee put the disclaimer in the chat, because 75 pounds since 31st, phenomenal. So thank you so much for sharing. And next, I'm going to pass the baton over to Lucy in South Carolina. And Lucy's gone through her journey being intentional with her health over several holiday seasons now. So Lucy, we'd love to hear from you. I know that you have some great tips for all of us to navigating the holidays. And we'd love to also hear your story. I know a lot of us know it, but a lot of us don't too. So
yes, so thank you. I'm changing my view so I'm not looking at myself, because I don't want to look at myself. Is that this is actually my fourth holiday season. So I began in May of 2020, got to my goal weight the day after Thanksgiving of 2020. So yeah, 2020, 21, 22, and 23. Yeah, so this is my fourth holiday season, and have been able to pretty much keep it off. I'm within about a 5 to 7 pound of that initial, so still fitting everything great. And body definitions changed because I do a lot of weightlifting and whatnot now. So, but it can be done. I mean, if I started in May, like I said, so I went through all of those holidays, Memorial Day, July 4th, all the holidays. I went through all of those, and was still successful in losing almost 50 pounds. So one of the things I think for myself, or a few things for myself and my clients that are successful, and just really how to navigate these holidays, is number one, is deciding what it is that you want to come from this season, and being honest with yourself about that. That could be, okay, I want to be focused and stay true. If you're on the 5-1 or the 4-2, sticking to that plan and partnering with your health coach. Or if it's, so like for myself, I'm not in a weight loss phase. My goal is to maintain and to just hold steady through the holidays. But whatever that is to make sure you are honest with who you are and what your weaknesses are, so that there's no shame or guilt in the decisions that you make during this season, because you've decided. Number two, I've already said, is stay connected to my coach. Okay, like I said, this is my fourth holiday season. I still talk to my coach. And I tell that to my clients all the time. They think that just because I'm a coach, or that I've gotten to my goal weight, that I don't talk to my coach anymore. And I'm like, no, because I'm human and I make a lot of mistakes. So um, yeah, I still need that accountability, because I know myself. I'll go backwards if I don't. Um, and I think Stephanie said this too. The last two is only honestly going to be a repeat. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say no. I've had to say no to some gatherings, because I know if I go to every invite that is out there this time of year, I will gain weight, because I know myself. I can only hold off and be strong for so long. And so I also said no to a lot of extra baking that I would normally and cooking that I would do this time of year. I have for Thanksgiving, I baked one dessert, just one, as opposed to three or four different ones. And then the fourth one is remembering what the season is really all about. It's not about the food, like Stephanie said. It's about serving more, giving more of myself and my time to other people. And that's what I really recommend to my clients during this time because it really isn't. You don't remember the food you eat. You really don't. You really remember the people that you're spending time with and the experiences that you have together. And so that's what I do, and that's what my clients who are successful, that's what they're doing during this season.
Ah, so good, Lucy. And I think it's so important to remember that it's not like we reach our goals and then we're like, oh, I'm here. I've arrived. I can do whatever I want now. Like, it doesn't work that way. And so I love hearing those tips from you, Lucy, that it still takes intentionality and knowing yourself and knowing, what boundaries do we need to have in place for ourselves to continue to feel the way we want to feel and to continue to trend, toward health and wellness and taking care of ourselves. And, one thing I love all of this that's blowing up in the chat. I can't keep up with all of it, but one thing that I've been really talking about a lot with my clients and with my coaches too is letting go of, and I know Stephanie mentioned this earlier, but letting go of any shame or guilt. So if you're here tonight and you're listening or you're, on live or listening to the recording, I just want you to know if you're finding yourself in a space that you don't really want to be in, or maybe you do have health or wellness goals that you're really trying to attain, or maybe you've gained back some weight, just know that you're not alone. And I think what's so important is to let go of that shame and guilt and just ask yourself, what do I really want right now in my life? And how can I focus on taking care of myself in this season? What does that look like? How can I find joy and be present in the moment while still being kind to myself and loving myself enough to treat my body well and treat our minds well? And so I love so many of the ideas we had tonight, and honestly just loved hearing all of the inspiring stories. I hope you guys are feeling the inspiration tonight. And I think just feeling that strength and that camaraderie, that as you make decisions or as you might say no to something that maybe you would have done in the past, or as you create new traditions or new family memories, that, we're in this together. We're all in this together and we're doing it together. And I know several people that shared tonight did make a decision to pay this forward. I think it's hard not to pay it forward when your life has been radically changed, like Josh's and Lucy's and Stephanie's, that all of them shared tonight, have decided to pay us forward and help step into helping others. And so I do want to invite all of you on to, right after this call, we're going to roll into a call called Sneak Peek into Coaching. So you can look behind the veil and just see, what is it that, why did these people say yes to this? And why do they show up? And why are they calling me? And why are you passionate about this? I guarantee you that you will not regret staying on for the second half of the call and just learning a little bit more about this opportunity and what it could look like for you. And I know so many of us on here are so grateful that we decided to pay it forward and help others. And more than anything, I just wish all of you happy holidays. I'm so grateful that you took the time in this busy season just to be here with us tonight. We value each of you and you each belong. And I hope that you gained something. If you can text your coach and let them know what stuck out to you from this call, or maybe something that you're going to do different this season, or something that you're committing to. I know your coach would love to hear that. So I'm going to pass the baton over to Frank and Shauna, who are going to be leading the second portion of our call.